Where to begin? Gruesome stuff out there, guys. Really. If you guys were a part of the watch along, you guys will know that I did not enjoy that at all. I thought, you know, I wanted to see Arsenal win a game with a rotated lineup pretty comfortably and look like they have the energy to play in this competition. And I saw exactly what I saw last season. We either struggle very, very much so to get it over the line with a rotated lineup, or we go out. And so, as happy as I am to go through, I still have the same feelings that I did last season, that we just have the inability to get up for cup competitions with a rotated lineup. That team was more than good enough to beat Brentford easily. In the first half, we had enough chances. Emil Smith Rowe had a chance, Eddie Nketiah had a chance, Kai Havertz had a chance to just put us 2 or 3 goals ahead so that we didn't have to eventually need to bring on the likes of Odegaard and Jesus and Zinchenko. But of course, we score our 1 goal, we sit off, we don't put them under any more pressure. They start to gain more control and start pushing, getting chances. Their crowd gets up for it, and we're on the ropes for about 30 minutes in that half. Then our starters and our regular players come on, and they just look not like themselves. It's exactly the way it looked last season. And it's really disappointing because good teams, I think, win these games relatively easily, even with rotated lineups. Like Tomiyasu is a starting level player. Gabrielle is fine. Ben White starts for us. We know Ramsdale is the number one. You have Jorginho with so much experience. You have Kai Havertz, who's been starting for Arsenal, by the way. You have Emil Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson, who haven't had a lot of minutes, but they've played in competitions like this before for Arsenal. Out of the academy they have, and have scored goals and looked really, really good. So the idea that it should have been this level of a struggle for me still lies within management and mentality when it comes into these cups. If we don't play our starting 11 and start well from the beginning, we really struggle, and it really takes the other team to absolutely let us off the hook, or for them to just kind of like take over. And man of the match, I'm just going to spoil it for you guys. Like, it's Wissa. Wissa is the man of the match today, because him missing a couple of chances was the difference between us winning the game and potentially having to go into penalties. And no, I was not confident going into penalties. So I am happy that we get to the next round, but we are not getting any better at winning these games relatively comfortably with a rotated lineup. And that is shocking, because we have, like, these are not El Neni and Cedric didn't come on until later. We're talking Kivior, we're talking Tomiyasu, we're talking Jorginho. Like, some of these players were brought in just for these competitions to give us the depth and quality that we need. And again, we're struggling very badly to just get it over the line. And so, to me, I'm worried going into the weekend. That's the second bad performance in a row from Arsenal, where we played relatively well in the first half and then just completely fall off of a cliff in the second half. And it's worrying, because some of the people that played today will need to play against Bournemouth, because we have so many injuries right now. And right now, for me, they're not stepping up enough. They're not stepping up enough. Like, they're not going to be able to get us over the line in these difficult circumstances. So it's management, it's mentality. People just need to start taking these cups seriously and taking their chances. And if we don't play our starting 11 right now, we are in the same position that we were last season. No starting 11. We are struggling badly, 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 badly. So it's rough. It really is. We're going to get into the player ratings, but it was stinky. It smelled. It reeked. It was just the worst. And the first half, I just kept saying I didn't care. We were 1-0 up. I didn't care, because I knew that it was going to be a struggle in the second half, and it was going to really just take either Brentford being terrible or for us to get lucky. And I do want to say this, that I do think when we're on the ropes, there's no better goalkeeper for us than Ramsdale. And he played well as we got further into the half and Brentford started to put more and more pressure on us. That is when he shines. He shines when we are on the ropes. He really does. And so he did a good job today. I also want to say, like, I thought Tomiyasu was quite good today. So even though I was like, he's a squad option, he needs to step up, I actually think he was really good today. I thought him and Gabriel were pretty fine. I thought Kivior struggled for the majority. I know he had that goal line clearance, but man was struggling back there so badly. And White, who's a player that I desperately did not want to see play today, looks a shadow of himself at this stage. Like, he was poor-ish against Spurs, and he looked really poor again today. So I'm not quite sure what the answer is there. Because again, we don't have many options. But going into Bournemouth after watching this and watching Spurs, I'm worried. Because we're not clinical, we're not creating enough chances, we're not fluid, and we just don't look like ourselves. But we look like ourselves in the cup competitions today. So there you go. There's 163 of you guys in here. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. There's tons of comments in here, so I know, let's see what you guys are saying. Monk says, so frustrating to watch these players move like that. Boy says, I reckon if we started our full first team, we get the exact same performance. I don't think we do. Tawana says Nelson 6, Gabrielle 6, Ramsdale 6, Kiwi 5.5, Eddie 0. We're gonna get into the actual player ratings, but I hear you. Sammy says really bad second half. Yes, really poor second half. Shaquille says Tomiyasu, all the fans need to hold that. He is our best defender at defending. And Tomiyasu, like Trossard, for me, are high quality squad options to have in the team. They have enough experience and enough know-how and enough quality where you don't see that much drop off between them and the next player. Like, I thought Tomiyasu had a very good game. I really do. And it's good to have him in the team because he's a good, like, kind of tool to have because he can do so many different things. He can play on the left, he can play on the right. He's pretty good on the ball. But what he does have is the ability to defend really well 1v1. And Ben is struggling right now to defend in wide areas and to defend 1v1. He looks tired and he's getting targeted at this stage. And I do think that going into Bournemouth, I think we should sit Ben down and play Tomiyasu on the right. There's not like it. Saka's not even over there, so we don't even have to worry about breaking up the Saka side. He's not going to play. So, I think Tomiyasu stops you from being targeted 1v1 in wide areas. So I would like to see Tomiyasu play. I think he more than earned it today, playing on the right-hand side next to Gabriel. And, Ben just needs some time to sit, I think, for sure. Earl says, this was a good Arsenal performance. Well done, lads. Fair enough. Saturdays equals you says, I only caught the last 15 minutes. Curious to hear about the performance. And the thing is I think we should be beyond this stage of who we are as a team where a couple of guys out, not even a couple, but we rotate and we just look like a shell of ourselves and we can't perform at a decent level. I think we should kind of be beyond that at this stage. Like, the only thing that really saved us is the fact that we're a pretty good defensive side. And you have guys back there like Gabriel and Tomiyasu getting back there and making the blocks. There were some good blocks, by Ben and Kivior as well, and Ramsdale. The fact that we had good defenders back there saved us, but we still could have went down if Brentford had just put a couple of those chances away. So yeah, it was stinky. It really was. John P says Reece looked good going both ways. Smith Rowe can only play 40 minutes, then he is dead. But what else do you expect from Emile Smith Rowe? He hasn't played at all. Like, I expected him to be kind of like dead on his feet in the second half because this is the first start he's had in a very long time. So, I don't really blame him at all. And I think Reece had a really good showing as well. But, in the first half, the game should have been done. How many times are we going to say that? Game should be done in the first half. It's wild. Crispy says, I need Bournemouth thrashing or else it's looking dodgy. Eloise says, the only thing we need to know, what is the role of Havertz in this team? He was okay in the first half, really fell away in the second. I don't know what to make of it. It's curious case. Curious case. So there you go. Tane says ESR still had a crisp passing in the second half. Mikey says City 2-1, really? So did they knock Newcastle out? Did they persevere. That's crazy if they did, but they're the best team on the planet. So there you go. John P says Ramsdale was braver with his passes today. He was. He had one little bobbly moment where he kind of held on to it a little bit too long, but there you go. Tawana says that midfield needs something. I don't know, but it needs something. Maybe it needs like a number 8 in it. I think for Jorginho on an island is always going to be pretty difficult. I think he needs to be in a double pivot. But you have him by himself, and then you have 2 players that like to be off the ball a little bit more than being on it, and Emile Smith-Rowe and Havertz. So you don't have a high volume passer in there. You don't have enough. You don't have a ball winner in there. You just don't have enough. And so the midfield was always kind of going to be an issue at some stage in this game, I think. But I can't wait to see like Rice come back in for sure. Also, oh no, people are saying Man City are losing. Damn. I'm so hungry. Social Joint says no Chelsea player. That's what it means. So yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into this as well. There's 225 of you guys in here. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. The game's not over yet though. Like, is it over or no? I'm just gonna click on real quick because it would be fun to see sad Manchester City faces. Is this what life without Rodri is? Is that what it is? No, I'm just joking. See, mine is like way behind and it says Newcastle 1, Manchester City 0. Is that what it's always been this whole time? It's over? Yeah, damn, they did not come out. You guys said, so who did Manchester City have out there? See, I'm sorry. Like now I'm getting like sidetracked. Who do they have out there?